All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us tonight. Those of you who are live, welcome. For those of you watching this as a recording, welcome. We're here tonight to talk about the Isagenix opportunity. But before I get started, the young lady in the bottom right-hand corner here is Kathy Coover. And this is our disclaimer. Basically, you can screenshot this, read this. But basically, we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight. And you just need to know this is not some get-rich-quick program. It's not some fad diet program. In fact, it's not a diet at all. Very, very powerful products, scientifically backed, and then the compensation plan is rock solid. I've been in this industry 20 plus years, seen a lot of different compensation plans. This is the best compensation plan I've ever seen. But like anything in life, anything worthwhile, it takes work, and this does take work. You can find out more by going to isagenixearnings.com. But one of the things we pride ourselves on, not just on the Cepeda team, but the entire Isagenix family, is our integrity, and therefore we always want to start with this disclaimer to put things in perspective. It is absolutely my privilege tonight. We're not going to do a lot of screens. In fact, this will be the last one that you're going to see, and then we're going to go just to show Patty Cepeda. You can read the screen. You can do a screenshot of it. It's a great introduction. But bottom line, let me just tell you from my heart, Diane and I have been in this industry for 25 plus years. We have never had the opportunity to work with a couple like Herb and Patty Cepeda before. Patty Cepeda is a lady of integrity. She's wise, she's bold, she's spiritually solid as a rock, and she's not afraid to share what she's learned with other people. She's got a phenomenal marriage. She's done a phenomenal job raising her kids. She's built a huge, massive, global, international business here. And ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get to know her a little bit tonight as we go through some questions together. And so, Patty, I just want to welcome you to our call this evening. And I want to kind of just open up for you to just kind of share your story before Isagenix, before you got involved in Isagenix. We'll start there, and I know everybody's eager to learn more about you tonight. So, Patty Cepeda, tell us about your life before Isagenix, please.
All righty. Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for that warm introduction. I'm excited to be here, and ecstatic. Before Isagenix, my husband and I, we thought we met in college. We know that God put us together at 18 years old. We eloped out of college. He was a New York State trooper going into the academy. And I was actually starting a master's degree program in special education. So we actually thought we would do that for the next 40 years of our lives. And man, I thank God, because during that time, we were introduced to this industry. And I was never exposed to this industry in my life prior to that. So it sounded too good to be true. But yet, when the other trooper who was exposing us to this type of thing was talking about all this money people are making and all the freedom, and that's really my driver, is freedom. I really didn't believe it, but yet something was going on inside of my heart, and that was, this voice was, what if? What if it's true? What if it's true that people are making this kind of money? I knew people made money out there somehow, and I don't look into this, because I had always been driven to be in business for myself. But yet then on the other hand, I had a little heels dug in a little bit, because my family is a family of business owners. And I watched how they were really, and I ask people all the time when we're in person, do you own the business or does the business own you? And most business owners, yeah, the latter, the business owns me. And that's what I saw my family members, was that the business owned them. But yet on the other hand, I didn't want to work for somebody else for the rest of my life. And so we're introduced to the industry, and we weren't really looking, because this looked like, okay, these are two well-paying, well-respected careers in New York State Police, and teaching. But yet what I figured out very quickly was, he was going to have his days off, and I was going to have my days off. He was going to work different shifts than I was working. And then all of a sudden, what became very real was the danger in the job. He was in high-speed chases, shootouts. And so that actually started to make me, unknowingly, I wasn't really avidly out there searching for something, but I started realizing, you know what, I don't like the lifestyle that we're about to, for the next 40 years, go in separate directions. I don't like this at all. And so I was open on the other hand. And that's why we were interested in this industry. And that's why I started to look into it. And the more I looked into it, the more excited I got. And, it was a different company. And of course, we didn't know anything about this industry. And so we ran with it. We were at the top of the company in 2.5 years. Herb resigned from the state police. I left teaching and went into this full time. And a lot of people, Chuck, want to know, well, then why did I leave that company? We were doing well. But what happened was, we started to realize it wasn't duplicating. And that's one of the key things when we look at the criteria needed to do these things, is that the compensation plan needs to be lucrative, but it also needs to be simple, that the average person can duplicate. And that's what we have here. We have lots of people doing incredibly well financially. And for me, that's exciting. I don't know about you, that fires me up.
Absolutely. In fact, your success fires a lot of us up because it gives us something to know it's real. So let's go back just a little bit. And you said you were successful in network marketing. You left that company. Before you get into your story about Isagenix, tell us a little bit why this industry. Why is this industry what you and Herb have chosen to stake your future in?
Well, that's the whole thing, is that it's the freedom, the ability to be able to do, and this is what our mentor told me. He had said to us, we were sitting in his house that day, and he says, that they were able to do whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, with whomever they wanted, as much as they wanted, and didn't have to worry about money. And he was just, expressing this that way because it was showing the freedom. And I was sitting in the evidence of what, this is his success. I was in one of his many houses, and it wasn't the things that excited me. It was the freedom, the ability to be able to wake up with my wife. That's what he said, my best friend. I thought, man, I would love that, to be able to wake up with my husband, my best friend. He's my best friend. And we met in 1982. Praise God. We're still best friends. And that's what we have today, is the opportunity to be able to wake up together and have breakfast together. And it's usually a shake, but we can go out on a jet ski. We can do what we want. And what we love about what we're doing now is that we're helping so many people be able to achieve that same type of success.
Absolutely. So these next two questions are going to kind of go together, but why Isagenix? And then tell us how you got started with Isagenix.
Okay, so we had started with that company, and we ended up leaving that company because it wasn't duplicating. People weren't making money. And we had started to look into other, obviously keeping our minds open, but we were careful. After we left the first company we were with, we started to keep our eyes open for other opportunities in this industry because we love this industry. And there were so many opportunities that came our way. People were offering us this opportunity and that opportunity. But what Herb and I started to do was we set up a set of criteria to evaluate these types of companies. And the first criteria is that the company has to be stable, ideally debt-free, and that the owners must understand this industry. We have that here with Isagenix, by the way. Jim Coover's built a company, grew a company to over $1 billion back in the early 80s. We've got his wife, Kathy, who's the helm of Isagenix, who has been at the top of 3 of these types of companies. And so she knows what it's like to be in the field. But number 2, the products need to be consumable. Unique is a bonus factor. There's a lot of these types of companies marketing things that you can get anywhere. So uniqueness is a bonus factor. Emotional is a home run. To be able to have an emotional response. We have people dropping 5 to 20 pounds in, a couple weeks without dieting. I know Jill, right? I don't know if Jill's on the line. She's down 30 pounds in 30 days. Congratulations. I just saw that video and I was like, whoa, this is so exciting. And we see this frequently. That's emotional. When it's emotional, it's a home run. The third criteria is the compensation plan. It needs to be lucrative. It needs to be simple. And then the fourth criteria is training and support, which never concerned us because that's what we do. We have a whole system. We have every morning, Monday through Friday, we meet with this team. We do Zoom calls like this. But in the mornings, we do training calls with different topics all week long, rising up master trainers and master trainers. So the idea is to duplicate ourselves. We've got that in place. The fifth criteria is the timing. But yet when we left the first company with the success we had because we had reached the highest level in that company, and when we were walking away from it, we were being prospected into everything. It felt like everybody was offering us everything. But yet what we could quickly do is evaluate the companies and the offers up against these criteria. And it was very easy to see that every company that came our way was falling short in one or more of these, and they need to rank a 10 or later it will rear its ugly head. And so the way we were introduced to Isagenix was we started a coaching business because we couldn't find a company that we would put our name to. And so we started this coaching business and, helping people to achieve their goals. We prided ourselves that we were generic. We were not with a company, so we weren't biased. And then somebody out of Chicago, Bruce Walla, paid our company for coaching. And I went in to coach him. And what happened was I started to get excited because as I started, he gave me the entrance into his back office. I started to look at what was going on and I could not believe it. I started realizing, oh my gosh, this company is measuring up. But the one thing that was falling short was it looked like a diet. And he was even saying to me, people are dropping 5 to 20 pounds in 9 days. But he didn't distinguish 5 to 20 pounds of fat, maintaining lean tissue, that it's full body nutritional cleansing at the cellular level, which is the reason it's a side benefit to the program that people are dropping fat weight while retaining lean tissue. I mean, it was like unbelievable. He didn't say that. But then what happened was, as I looked into it, everything on paper looked fantastic. And I knew I needed to try the products. So when I got the products that came in, it was unreal. I wanted to make sure that they tasted good and that they worked. And I'll tell you what, everything tastes phenomenal. There's no hydrogenated oils, no high fructose corn syrup, no fake sugar, no soy, no corn. So there's none of the junk in it, but they taste phenomenal. And they work because in the next 2 weeks doing it all wrong, Herb and I both lost 4 percentage points in body fat. And we had never seen that before. So obviously that got me very excited. My mom got on the program. She lost 37 inches off of the 14 spots on her body that you're supposed to measure in 2 weeks, doing it her stubborn New York way, which was whatever way she wanted to do it. Her heart doctor said, whatever you're doing, keep doing. She went on to lose 40 pounds. Her medical doctor said, get me it. Her medical doctor got on the program, lost 30 pounds, started recommending it to all of her patients. And everybody that got on the program was losing, and we're not even a weight loss program, 5 to 20 pounds of fat in their first 2 weeks without dieting. I mean, people were coming back. We started to gather with people, and people would come back week after week, and they didn't even look the same. I mean, they would be coming up to the house and oh, look at you. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. They'd be pulling their pants and their belt and their collars and their shirts. Everything was baggy, and people didn't even look the same. And they had guests with them. So now the guests are like, I don't care whatever this is, I want it. And that's kind of what started to happen with Isagenix. So we were introduced, to answer your question, a real long answer to a very simple question. We were introduced through a coaching client, and I will tell you that I am so thankful. We came in right with the coaching client, opened our account with him. And of course, then the compensation plans, 2 teams that you build. Some people come to the table and they're not interested in the business. And guys, if you're listening and you're not interested in the business, don't tell anybody about it. You don't have to. You don't have to be interested in the business at all. It's hard not to tell people because number one, you're going to look different. People look different within days. They feel different within days. And if you have a heart at all, you're going to want to share this with the people you care the most about. And that's true networking. So we have a situation here where we can't even shut people up about what we have. So it's a good thing.
It is. Well, your success is well documented. A multiple 7-figure annual income earner, top of the company, one of the top of the entire industry. That's exciting. But how does a person like you do that with 5 children that you raised while building this massive global business? How do you do that?
Yeah, focus. And I'll tell you, by the grace of God, I was actually homeschooling all 5 children when we were introduced to this. I had a full plate to clear as far as my coaching clients because I wasn't going to leave them high and dry. We got bombarded by people in Isagenix that wanted me to coach them. So we literally turned away hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of coaching clients when we came into this because we really had our back up against the wall. We were working like wild around the clock, and I didn't have time to do 2 things. So I cleared my plate of coaching clients, and I was homeschooling the kids, couldn't take on more coaching clients. And the truth is, Chuck, it's simply focus. If you realize that all we're doing is helping people open their accounts, helping them kind of like a Sam's Club or a Costco or a BJ's Club fee. You pay a fee so you can buy at the wholesale. That's all we do. I hate sales. So it's not sales. It's simply educating people. We have the highest quality, most absorbable nutritionals on the face of the planet, coupled with the most lucrative compensation plan. It's absolutely out of hand. As a matter of fact, when Herb and I were looking at this compensation plan, and we had been in the industry for 20 years at the time we were introduced to Isagenix. When we started to comprehend this compensation plan, I was like, babe, and we were high-fiving. I could not believe this compensation plan is what it is. So it's so lucrative. Every piece of the puzzle's in place here, so anybody can do this, and it's team building. So we take you by the hand to teach you how to do it. And you know what you do is you apply yourself. So to answer your question, I started as extremely part-time, but yet in my part-time, I was putting in as much quality time that where it was really income producing activities is what I've called it. Income producing activities, meaning I was meeting with people and I was just sharing what we had. If they liked it, great. We helped them open an account. If they didn't, I asked them, great. Is it okay if I stay in touch with you from time to time? And they were sure, that's fine. You know, because I know people's situation in their lives change. And I was very organized about that. I didn't have time to not be disorganized. So I had everything organized, and I worked this diligently, and I worked this compensation plan. It's a fear of loss compensation plan. Anybody that's listening right now can open your account whenever you want. You can order every third, fourth, fifth month, or once a year. It doesn't matter. And that's kind of the attitude I have. But I'll tell you, if you open your account before the rest of the people open their accounts, then they are on your team. And so if one day you decide, man, I want to build a business, or you start to share this because you can't even help it, people are like, get me what you have. It almost reminds me of Raphael on this morning's call shared that he had somebody that's I believe it was semi-pro baseball. He hits 2 home runs, 100+ mile per hour pitches, 2 home runs in one game. People are like, what are you using? And of course, he's on Isagenix. He's rolling people left and right in the field of baseball. And we do work with a lot of pro athletes. We do, just so people understand, Chuck, I think it's important that people understand people do this for a number of reasons. The first is accelerated weight loss. They want to lose fat. And people are spending, I mean, look, we have 87% of the population that's considered overweight. 33% are considered obese. So we're in a situation where we have a lot of people that are looking and spending billions and billions of dollars on weight loss programs with a 90+% failure rate. Here you have a program with a 90+% success rate. I mean, it's very rare that anyone doesn't have success on this unless they quit, because you can't keep putting quality product in your body like this. And then even cellular cleansing, whether you do it fast or slow, you start to lose body fat because you're addressing toxicity at the cellular level. It's amazing. So like I said earlier, people look and feel different within days. So where was I? What was the question you asked? I know I'm off on a tangent.
No, you did great. You were telling us how you did this while raising a family the way you did. And you focus, focus, concentrate on the activities.
Absolutely.
The next question is, a lot of people have lost their dream. They've quit dreaming. And I just want you to help people understand a typical week in the life of Herb and Patty Cepeda, because we've had the privilege of watching you live your life. And it's not like you're work. You work as hard as anybody I know, but you also play really hard and have a lot of fun. Can you just explain to somebody what it's like to go from massive debt, which you were when you started this company, to now total financial freedom? I mean, literally, you and Herb do not have to worry about money for the rest of your life. That's exciting. Can you share what that's like?
Yeah, well, it's definitely what I worked so diligently for. It was for the freedom, the ability, and I'm no different than anyone on this line. And I remember when we went to check out this industry back at the end of 1988, and I our mentor was making millions of dollars. And I remember him saying, look, I put my pants on the same way you put your pants on. I put, whatever, I go to the bathroom the same way you go. Like, he was just making a point that he was no different than I was. And that's all I can say to you, is that I am no different than you are, except that I worked hard and I had a vision and I saw this and I hated the idea. And it's, it's almost like to get set free. Sometimes you got to hate the thing that you don't, there's got to be something that drives you. And I hated that my husband was working one shift and I was working another shift. I told him when we met at 18 in college, that when we decide to have kids one day, that I want you to know that I would rather live in a tent and raise them myself and allow somebody else to raise them. And so basically I wasn't looking to have kids and hand them off. And if you've done that and you have them in daycare, that's just my personal conviction. I just wanted to have my own kids and raise them and instill my own beliefs and values into them. And what is so spectacular is that this opportunity came our way, and it afforded me an opportunity to work like mad to not only set me free, but him free, that we work this together, that our children know him as well as they know me. So if you've lost vision or you've lost hope, number one, the environment you put yourself into when you're working with a team like this is people filled with hope, that are driven. And it's extremely important, the company you keep. You become the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And you can even take that to the bank by adding up the salaries, the income that these 5 people you spend the most time with earn, average it out, and you will be within $10,000 of that income. So it's like we tend to walk like them, talk like them, act like them, eat the way they eat, and do all the things that they do. So when you choose wisely, who are you hanging out with? Are they exhorting you physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally? Are you doing something with your life? Or are you just going to let life pass you by? I'm saying, hey, let's live life together. And what this type of thing allows us to do is, on a part-time basis, start to match or replace your full-time income. And then while that starts to happen, you can start to consider leaving your job. You don't have to leave your job and put everything at risk. There is no risk here. This is something you can do on a part-time basis, and then start to do something with this as you feel you feel you can, or whatever you're ready. The truth is, I was like, oh man, I was on fire. I was like enthusiasm, just on fire, but it was ignorance. I didn't know what I was doing. It didn't matter, because I'm speaking from my heart, and I wanted to let people know what I had. That if this was something that was going to set us free, and that this company you're listening about tonight with Isagenix is going to be a multi-billion-dollar a year company, with or without you. And I used to say with or without me, but it's not going without me now, because I'm working. But when we started, Chuck, to answer that, I worked around the clock. I was just so invested. Everything. I was constantly on the phone. I worked and worked and worked. And that's what we do. We're on the phone. We met with people. We helped people. We measured people. We helped them achieve the goals and all that they said that they want. And in love, we helped them. Now you see us live our life, and yeah, we're doing, like I was surfing today, and we're able to do a lot more and be able to enjoy the freedoms. But yeah, I believe this is God's call on my life, because this is an area where we can help so many people and speak life. Instead of watching people just lose their hope and go back and forth to this job scenario, there's a different way to approach it. There's a different attitude to have about that. And then there's light at the end of the tunnel when you start with something like this. When you find the right company at the right time that's set to explode, we are about to enter a growth right now. Buckle your seatbelts. And those people who are working very diligently right now are those people. And just remember, when I say diligently, it's meeting with people, and it's something that shows up later. It's not something that might show up right now. There is upfront money. You can make lots of money right away now, because they put a lot more money in the upfront portion of this compensation plan. But you can also start to establish yourself with your efforts today with a residual income. Residual means it comes in whether we do it or not. That's what's wild, is that I wish I could just give everybody a pill that you could take with a glass of water and know everything I know about the company, the products, and how phenomenal they are. And by the way, probably people are not hearing everything that they want to hear or getting all their answers to all their questions. And maybe you came and you want to hear a little bit more about the products, or maybe you came and you want to hear a little bit more about the numbers and the business and how that works, or how the compensation plan works. And maybe you're not getting all your questions answered. For the sake of time, we're covering just kind of an overview, but please get back with whoever invited you to this phone call tonight, and be sure to get your questions answered, because when you figure this out, you'll lose sleep about this. You'll lose sleep about what this company has and how this will affect your body and transform your health. It's amazing. So it's very rewarding, Chuck. But yeah, it is massive action, pointed massive action, choosing your friends and associations wisely. And that's really, I can't get any simpler than that.
No, it's beautiful. And I do want to take it and shift it just a little bit here, because we've been primarily talking to guests up to this point. I want you to talk to those of us that are on your team. And what are 2 or 3 activities that you'd like to see all of us do on a regular, consistent basis?
Well, honestly, move. If you can move, do something physically, because physiology changes your state. And of course, the whole key to what we do here is meeting with people. If you can love on a lot of people, get as many people as you can in front of the plan. It's called Show the Plan, STP, show the plan, show the plan, show the plan. That's how simple this is. You can do it with a video. You can do it with a Zoom. You can actually have an in-home or a business overview at your home. I don't call them parties because I don't know. This could be my age. I just think of Tupperware or whatever. I think of Mary Kay or selling. When I think of parties, I think of retail selling. But whatever, I always had overviews or in homes, and people would come over. We go through the whole thing where it was basically our story, the company's story, the comp plan. And you can press play, watch it on a DVD or whatever, on the video. Or sending them to a website. It's that simple. How many times can you get people in front of that? But you must, in my opinion, have goals. It's calling forth those things that are not yet as though they were, and going after something, taking consistent, persistent, continuous action toward the attainment of written goals, and have that all around you. And then size it down. How many people will you show the plan to per month, per week, per day? And then what will happen is you're going to get better and better at this. And the key is, it's a lot of things, but it's the follow-up. Staying plugged into your team's training calls, making sure that everybody that you're introducing is also plugged in. And you can't push a wet noodle uphill. I get it. I'm not looking to push a wet noodle uphill. I'm looking for people who want this. I'm looking for people, and you do not have to come up. If you feel like you're selling something, then you probably are. You've probably talked too much, and you're pushing the way you're trying to push a wet noodle up a hill. Or I always say, I'm not looking to put somebody in a headlock and drag them across the finish line. I'm looking for people who are not satisfied with the status quo right now. They're actually looking at their scenario and they're wishing that they had more free time. They were able to see at the kids' games, that they weren't missing their daughter's recital. Some men are spending more time with their secretary than their wife. Is that what you wanted? Wife, if you're listening, is that what you want? Because if it's not, then use that to motivate you to do something about it. So it's really just taking action, Chuck, and putting as many people as you can in front of the plan as fast as you can, because it's easier to build in this industry fast than it is slow. That's a fact. Because
Absolutely.
You're going to get yourself into this momentum. I was on a run last night with my daughter. And she's like, Mommy, I want to be an executive. That's like a level of achievement. And I forget what she said, this month or something. Do you think I can? I said, absolutely. She goes, well, how do I do it? And she started going through all these different ways. And this person's doing that, and this person's doing that. And I said, Chelsea, it's just enrolling people, because you don't know what they're going to do. Even if somebody comes to the table and all they want to do is get healthy, or lose 20 pounds, or whatever it is for them. It doesn't matter. But what happens, I don't know what's going to happen from there, because people get excited and then they plug into the training calls and then they start to hear the success stories. And I don't know what's in somebody's heart. And so I don't prejudge anyone, even if they come in and they say, I'm not interested in the business and I'm not telling anybody. That's what Jessica Johnston told me. And I said, great, Jessica, don't tell anybody. Well, guess what? She had such a severe problem in her health where she had most of her large intestines was removed, most of her colon. She didn't even think she could do this, and she got on the program, but because of her condition that she almost lost her life to many years before I even met her, because of that condition, she was on a lot of support groups on social media. And when she got on this program, she was transformed, and she couldn't keep her mouth shut on social media. And guess what? She wasn't going to tell anybody. And I said, good, don't tell anybody. She made over $1 million in under 2.5 years and is a 7-figure-a-year income earner today. And she wasn't going to tell anybody. And I said, good, don't tell anybody. That's how we have to be. No attachment to the outcome. I don't matter. It doesn't matter to me if you get involved or not. My heart is, I want everybody to get on this program. It's 100% money back guaranteed. You have nothing to lose but fat and toxins from your body. We're not even a weight loss program. And people are dropping 5 to 20 pounds of fat in 2 weeks without dieting. Come on, maintaining lean tissue, feeling better, sleeping better, better mental clarity, better energy. Guess what? It gets you in a position where you actually have more muscle on your body and less fat. What does that mean? You can eat more. Guys, your metabolism runs higher. Who doesn't want this? I mean, people look different within days and feel different within days. And if anybody asks or you share it with anybody, you can get your program paid for. You can be eating for free, if at the very least. But what if you say, oh man, I just want to make a couple extra $100 a week, a couple extra $1,000 a week. You put the price tag on it. And when you feel you can believe for that, then we can go for it. If people knew, I mean, when you tell people what I'm making, for example, it sounds completely out of control. But yet I remember when we cycled once, Chuck, it was $54. I was like, yes. And I made a new goal and it was 10 cycles. That's $540. And then I just kept upping the amount and the difference, levels and goals. You just set new goals. Guys, but don't do it slow. I'm telling you, even if you have part-time to do this, get in front of as many people as you can, as fast as you can. That's my advice.
Oh, such great advice. I want to close with this last question, and I know your heart for helping people, and it's one of the things that really attracts Diane and I to you and her. Tell everyone from your perspective the importance of making a commitment to go to Nashville for celebration coming up in August. Why is that important for a brand new person or even somebody who's been in the business for a while?
For belief, to be honest. I mean, what happens when you go to these larger events is you get yourself in a place where you're around. Well, first of all, you can't even believe it. You got all these people. Nope. Check it out. We're in an audience of thousands and no one's sneezing. No one's coughing. It's almost like a UFO dropped off the healthiest looking people you can find on the planet. And there we are. Why? Because we're putting in this incredible nutrition. People look phenomenal. They feel phenomenal. It's almost like, it looks like a cult, but it's not. It's just that we're excited for life. Who doesn't want to be around that? I mean, it's a place where you can actually change your state, come to meet some of the biggest income earners in this company and in the industry, actually. You can meet the owners. You can see Jim and Kathy live and all of the scientific research and the studies backing this program. They're all right in your face. And it's just exciting. But number one for these bigger events is the belief, because the belief, in the industry is important, which you're learning. That's one thing our training calls teach you, is about the industry and how it works. A lot of people have misinformation or different preconceived notions about the industry, and we're clearing those up. But then at those big events, you're also learning more about the company, like I said, and the products, and you're developing a belief. You're actually starting to meet people who are just like you. Maybe they were, you're a teacher and they were a teacher. You were a trooper and they're a cop, you know, whatever. You start to run into people just like you who are now changing their lives. So it's developing a belief, and that belief is not only in the company and the industry, but it's a belief in yourself, because you start to realize, man, I'm no different than they are. And you start to believe. So that's really the biggest thing that those events for me that I feel people take away from them is the belief, all around belief. So yeah, they're incredible to get to those events.
Well, thank you,
Meet your
Patty.
team. Yeah, meet your team, meet your leaders, meet Chuck, meet me. They're just a lot of fun.
And there'll be a special service, I guess, on Sunday morning at this next event.
Yes,
And be able to pay a text alert. You'll get information about that. Patty, I want to do something a little different tonight. I don't want to just thank you myself personally. I want to open up the line and just give everybody an opportunity, because I've had so many people tell me how thankful they are that you took the time to share with us tonight. So I'm going to open up the line, and I'd appreciate everybody just letting Patty know how much we appreciate it.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.